people end up as servants to those few. Well, I can raise economic critiques about that. And the question is, if I can do that, then how can I be all the negative things you say about me? If your children are dancing to my music around the world, if you spend most of your time enjoying my creativity as a means of your sports, as a means of your other activities, if I'm that good everywhere that you spend so much time getting your enjoyment in life and understanding the stimulating parts of life by looking at me, then something must be all right about who I am. That's the idea of understanding the courage to somehow affirm that and to stand by that. And to understand that loving you does not mean that you have to dislike anybody. I love human beings, period. I have long since been distracted by color. I don't care what color you are. I look for your humanity. The fact that you don't understand me, that's your problem. I understand you. I've got a degree in you. So my argument is that the fact that you fail to understand me does not make me dislike you. I want to know what kinds of human resources do you bring to the planet. My critique of you does not negate you. And I therefore suggest to you that it requires the kind of confidence and self-love to permit you to do that. Competence, developing your resources so that you can, in fact, be good at whatever you do and to understand your responsibility to make the best of whatever you do, to work as hard for you as you work for anybody else, to make the same commitment to you that you make to someone else. The last two, faith and persistence, that is like having the kind of faith to understand that this universe is not ours. We are sitting in someone else's order. This order is bigger than Europe, England, New York, Amsterdam, Prague, Italy, Milan, St. Peter's Square. This universe is an order that reaches farther than the eye can imagine, reaches farther than the mind can conceive. And the faith says that it is in proper order, that the fleeting disturbances are just that, fleeting disturbances, that night and day is the same reality, life and death is the same reality, that every one of us who declares the consciousness of a human being has within them the divine spark of the divine creator. So we all are a part of the creative process. We are all potential creators in our being. That we all are divinely guided spiritual agents. We are from God doing God's work. And you may use the name God or some other kind of esoteric concept. Don't matter. You don't know who he is anyway. The idea is that something bigger than you, it's something greater than you, and an understanding that you have a relationship to that. That idea is the process that lets you have faith, to know that this will be all right. So I look at African American young men going to prisons in astronomical numbers. I look at our young people here on this island, around the West Indies, and in England, in Europe, who go to prison in great numbers, who somehow identify with crime and drug abuse and all the things, dropping out of school, failing to get the proper kind of education that these young people down here are getting. I look at those things. I look at the economic situation. I looked in New Orleans when Katrina came through and saw the poverty-stricken faces, the people desperately waiting for somebody to come rescue them. I felt the helplessness of not having any resources to go there and get those people. I couldn't save them. Once nature had wrecked our happy lot, we had to sit passively waiting for somebody to come help us get to safety. In the meantime, hundreds of us died, drowned, because there was nobody there until the white people decided to come rescue us. And they didn't decide right away. They had to think about it. I mean, it's funny in retrospect, but it wasn't funny enjoy those 5 days while they decided what they were going to do. But I want you to understand that even in those circumstances, as bad as things look somehow, as I look at the African continent, look at the number of millions of people dying from AIDS, as I look at the economic situation faced by former African colonies of former European colonies around the world, here in the West Indies or over in Africa, wherever they are, when I look at those economic situations, it looks pitiful, it looks sad. But I also know, my faith tells me, that if I came through what we've come through, we can get through this. We can, in fact, endure this situation and come out being even better. Your ancestors who made it possible for you to sit where you are would never have imagined that you would have the resources, have the right to vote, the right to make decisions, the right to determine your own autonomy, the right to educate your children, the right to determine how to use your economic resources, the right to develop business. They would never have imagined that you would be able to do that. But they didn't give up. They kept on doing the best that they could to make a difference. And because of what they did, you now sit where you sit as the recipient of the benefits of their contribution. And you, my brothers, my sisters, I challenge you to understand that you have a responsibility to continue to do the same. Let's leave the plantation. Let's break the chains. Let's become mentally free, and in doing so, we can help free the world. Thank you very much.